like and subscribe, and Slav God Peanut will spare you and forgive all your sins. Me who stubbed my toe and screamed too loudly out of pain. SCP-106 that hid that. Dr. Kondraki, Dr. Gear's office, Dr. Gears with his gun. SCP Foundation, Dr. Clef, reality bender. A toaster, you're weak, me, Imu. The Witch Child, Dr. Clef. Me and my knowledge about SCP, everyone else. Dr. Dan after Row96's article gets reclassified as neutralized. Wait, it's Sulfema Breaker, always has been. SCP Foundation, wow, how did you get like that? Every time SCP-682 breaches containment, I do one push-up, Jesus Christ. Me, Mom, can we get SCP Foundation? Mom, there's SCP Foundation at home. SCP Foundation at home. 1471 send you pictures to keep you company. 1471 sends an OnlyFans. When you are about to get to the surface as D-Boy, but then MTF spawns. When you are about to get to the surface as D-Boy, but then MTF spawns. After Feith you will still be conscious in your body, but you can't do anything, and go through eternal pain. That way of thinking is actually a cognitohazard SCP. No it isn't, I have experienced it myself. It awaits everybody, takes amnestics. Talking to Dr. Clef be like, why you always lying? This is a monitor saying the containment breach site was built for paper pushing, yep, and site 19 is the biggest site, right, yep, and a document in game says site 19 had its SCPs moved to an unnamed site, meaning that SCP containment breach cannot take place in site 19. Makes sense to me. So where does SCP containment breach take place? It has 173 so it takes place in site 19. The SCP Foundation, the GOC, the UIU. Me and the boys trying to find who TF asked. 173-049-682-106-096, literally every other SCP. My will to keep writing SCP articles, 60 downvotes on my first few articles. File SCP-231.jpg deleted. I don't need sleep, I need answers. Me, successfully contains 106 an SCP containment breach, 106. My disappointment is immeasurable and my containment breach is ruined. I bet he's thinking about other women. Him, Dr. Bright can't ride a roller coaster because he would have to take off all his jewelry. Reading SCP-4106 and reaching the end be like. You see a tall person in the corner of your photo, panic, it is just SCP-1000, calm, but there is a plebe man behind him with 4 pixels as his face, panic. You, hand me over that card. By the O5 Council, I'm terminating whatever the fuck that was.